something that the minister and ministry can consider. Ethics hotline in UNDP where people can report fraud in contracting. And empower local actors to develop ways to prevent hotspots of radicalization. Yeah, let's go to the next. View that it is a localized issue, so we should find out what it is that makes people take male lawmakers in Kosovo, believe it or not. Yeah, so for our neighbors, so what role schools, break times, and after-school activities may play. I don't. The PVE audit, preventing violent extremism audit, again is putting himself out there to do these things in this community. Let's see what this brings. I do not know. You know how kids start to smoke or take drugs. You know, children, yeah, they're susceptible people, still a large part of Kosovo society lives in rural areas. You've got to get people something. Kids are kids. And the last one, this is something that the minister and ministry can consider. Response to radicalization in one's social circle. Think about your family and friends. If one of them started to say or do things that you believe are leading to a radicalized behavior, what do you think you would do in response? And here we see slightly different answers between people who self-identify as Muslim and who don't. But I think it's a fair share of people who say I would talk to them individually. This is good civic behavior. This is definitely something we would want to encourage in a society. Talk to family and friends. And I think in particular here we see still the trust in Kosovo police is really unwavering in Kosovo. Most people say they would actually go and talk to the police, which is great that they would go and do something. But on the other hand, and again, don't take this out of context, just being radicalized isn't a crime. Yeah? You can think all sorts of things as long as you think it. Yeah? So the police has very little to act on if you say, he's growing a beard. Well, what are they going to do about it? If they go after everybody who's growing a beard, they're very busy. Yeah, so this is, I'm putting it in a humorous way, but it's also serious that don't expect that the police is going to do something or nothing. Which hotline Kosovans might turn to in cases of radicalization? Obviously, we asked this question because we are together with the ministry also supporting the municipality of Gilan on the referral mechanism. We wanted to see if this is something to invest on because other mayors have asked us. We've been deciding, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? England is doing it. Should we follow? Is this something worthwhile investing for Kosovo? And if a helpline is established to call, again, most people would turn to the police, yeah? So most people feel the most comfortable in turning to Kosovo police. And I think the graph speaks for itself. Let's move on to the next. Groups and institutions that help prevent radicalization. I think we're all very happy with the outcome of this graph here. Family is the top number one, and I think this is also pretty realistic because you live in a family context, very few of us live alone, so somebody might realize that there is something ongoing, and I think this is a good way of starting. If it had been something else, it would have probably been very difficult to keep up with the idea of a community-based approach and a rather small-based approach as opposed to like doing Kosovo-wide the same thing. Recommendations. These recommendations were provided by the experts that undertook the survey. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's in an order of priority that the minister considers relevant ourselves. And on the left, you see the recommendations. On the right, we have put where we are supporting, but where we could, of course, do more. Educate the public about the issues of radicalization. As I mentioned, Minister Husseini took a lot of time last year to go around and have individual meetings at community town squares informing people, to everybody who wants to be informed and supported. We're also supporting a development of an online platform to Kosovo police. Again, this is not fancy things or quirky things. This is just a response to the fact that Kosovo is 100% internet savvy and people have a smartphone, and I think there's very few places in the world where people over 80 have a smartphone because they Skype with their grandchildren, yeah? So here, this is the reality, we will deal with it, and I think it's also great that the police is thinking about using instruments that not necessarily are the standard police repertoire. Minister, it's always nice to see you.